All right, let's get right into it. Welcome to this premium note. Think of this as your professional mentorship session, where we are going to completely demystify the ultimate foundational skill of the modern digital economy. I'm talking about network security. And look, I am genuinely thrilled you're here, because whether you're an aspiring engineer, a startup founder, or just someone looking to future-proof your career and honestly build some serious wealth, you are exactly in the right place. We're going to take these complex, intimidating network architectures and break them down into practical, actionable, money-making knowledge. So let's get started. To really understand the massive stakes here and the sheer financial upside of this industry, we have to recognize one absolute reality. Right now, there are billions of connected devices globally. Billions. And every single one of them, from massive enterprise data servers down to the smart thermostat sitting in your hallway, represents a highly valuable digital asset. And every single digital asset needs protection. We're talking about incredibly sensitive customer databases, priceless intellectual property, financial records, you name it. Without rock-solid network security, the entire modern economy is completely exposed. So here is our Masterclass blueprint for today. We'll cover the trillion-dollar security opportunity, how digital networks actually work, the modern cybersecurity defense arsenal, zero trust and cryptography, AI and future cyber technologies, and finally, my favorite part, monetizing your security skills. Let's kick things off with part one, the trillion-dollar security opportunity. You literally cannot understand why businesses and governments are pouring billions into security without understanding the absolute cornerstone of the industry, the CIA Triad. Every single decision a security pro makes is just trying to balance these three pillars. You've got confidentiality, which just means making sure your sensitive stuff like trade secrets or credit cards stays strictly secret from the wrong people. Then there's integrity, meaning the data hasn't been tampered with or altered in transit. And finally, availability. Because let's be real, if your systems aren't accessible exactly when your business needs them, you're losing money. Balance those three perfectly, and you've got a secure environment. Moving right along to part two, how digital networks actually work. Okay, so before you can defend a castle, you really need to understand the blueprints, right? The same exact logic applies to how data moves. The OSI model is basically the master cheat sheet that network defenders use every single day. It breaks down network communication into 7 distinct layers. It starts all the way down at the physical cables, layer 1, and goes all the way up to the application layer at layer 7, which is where your web browser lives and honestly, where a lot of modern phishing attacks happen today. Why does this matter to you? Because every single cyber attack targets one or more of these very specific layers. If you know the layers, you know exactly where to set your traps. And understanding those layers lets us map out the anatomy of an actual threat. It almost always follows the simple 3-step domino effect. Domino 1, a vulnerability. That's just a weakness, like a weak password or software that hasn't been updated. Domino 2, the exploit. This is the specific method or malicious code a hacker uses to punch through that weakness. And Domino 3, the risk. This is the actual real-world damage, the financial loss or the PR nightmare that happens when the exploit works. As a security pro, your entire job is to break this chain before that third domino falls. Which brings us to part 3, the modern cybersecurity defense arsenal. When we talk about defending these networks, there is a massive, fundamental difference between just detecting a problem and actually preventing it. Take an intrusion detection system, or IDS. It's essentially a highly advanced passive alarm bell. It watches traffic and screams if it sees something sketchy. But an intrusion prevention system, an IPS, that is your active bouncer. It doesn't just ring a bell, it actively steps in, tackles the threat, and shuts down the malicious traffic in real time. To survive today, modern networks absolutely need both. And honestly, you can't have a conversation about defense without talking about firewalls. They are the ultimate gatekeepers standing between a trusted internal network and the absolute wild west of the public internet. Today, smart businesses rely heavily on next-generation firewalls, or NGFWs. These aren't just basic traffic cops anymore. They perform deep packet inspection, they know exactly which apps you're running, and they pull in live threat intelligence. Pair that with a web application firewall, and you've built an incredibly intelligent, robust barrier around your money-making services. All right, let's look at part 4, zero trust and cryptography. Firewalls are great, but here is the scary part. What happens when the attacker already stole a password, or they're actually already sitting inside your network? That reality forced the biggest paradigm shift in the entire industry, zero trust architecture. The old way of thinking was the castle and moat. If you were inside the castle walls, we trusted you. Zero trust completely throws that idea in the trash. It operates on one rule: never trust, always verify. Think of it like a highly exclusive VIP club where security aggressively checks your badge at every single interior door, not just the front entrance. It's constantly evaluating trust based on who you are and how your device is behaving. Now, right alongside zero trust is cryptography. Because, look, if an attacker does manage to grab your data, cryptography guarantees that it is absolutely useless to them. Think of it as taking a highly sensitive document and running it through a microscopic shredder. Only the authorized person on the other end has the exact mathematical tape needed to put it all back together. We use symmetric encryption for blindingly fast, heavy data transfers, and asymmetric encryption, which uses public and private key pairs to securely establish trust over the open web. So under the hood, how does this actually work? It happens through a process called a TLS handshake. The literal millisecond you visit a secure website or an app connects to an API, this invisible, lightning-fast conversation happens. The client reaches out, the server proves it's legit with a digital certificate, they secretly negotiate their encryption keys, and boom, secure encrypted communication begins. This handshake is literally the invisible bedrock making all modern e-commerce and digital business possible. Now let's look ahead to Part 5, AI and future cyber technologies. We have to ask the million-dollar question: what happens when the hackers start using AI? Because, spoiler alert, they already are. Adversaries are using artificial intelligence right now to automate massive malware attacks and craft hyper-personalized phishing campaigns. To fight back, defenders are being forced to completely evolve. Static, old-school rules just don't cut it anymore. We have to build networks that behave like adaptive, self-healing organisms, systems that can learn and respond in real time. Because of this arms race, modern security operations centers, or SOCs, are leaning heavily into machine learning. We're talking about AI sifting through millions of log events every second to spot weird behaviors and anomalies. It generates predictive threat intelligence, automating responses so fast that the threat is neutralized before a human analyst even gets an alert on their screen. And let me tell you, when you learn to master these AI-driven security tools, your value in the job market absolutely skyrockets. And looking even further over the horizon, we have to talk about quantum computing. To protect the secrets we have today from the incredibly powerful quantum computers being built tomorrow, which could literally crack current encryption, smart organizations are prioritizing something called crypto agility. This is the architectural ability to rapidly rip out old cryptographic standards and seamlessly plug in new, quantum-resistant ones without breaking your entire system. It is all about long-term survival and digital resilience. Finally, the best part. Part 6, monetizing your security skills. Okay, let's talk about the payoff. How do you take this incredible blueprint and actually turn it into real wealth, career freedom, and business value? Look, the global demand for these skills is staggering. It massively outstrips the supply of qualified talent, and that translates directly to lucrative opportunities. You could become a cloud security engineer, an ethical penetration tester, or jump into DevSecOps. But beyond a traditional 9-to-5, there is a massive market for high-ticket freelance consulting, building your own SaaS security tools, or eventually running the whole show as a chief information security officer. If you want a realistic roadmap to scale your income, here it is. In year 1, you relentlessly focus on the fundamentals and grab those key entry-level certs. By year 3, you pivot and specialize in high-leverage, high-paying areas like cloud security or SOC automation. And by year 5, you're stepping into elite enterprise architect roles, or maybe you're leveraging all that deep expertise to launch your own cybersecurity startup. The path is incredibly clear, it's structured, and honestly, the financial upside is just tremendous. So, we'll leave it there with this final thought. The digital economy is only going to expand, and the desperate need for brilliant, adaptable defenders is going to explode right alongside it. You've got the blueprint now. The only question left is, are you ready to take these tools, build truly resilient systems, innovate against the next wave of threats, and carve out your own success in this space? Because at the end of the day, the future belongs to the people who can secure it. Let's get to work.